Guys, we're back with Anton Daniels again. His interview with Brittany Renner. The title is Fresh and Fit Weren't First Telling Her She's Not Special. I Became a Monster. Not sure what she means by that. It's hard to tell with this woman. I'm just being honest. Look, 600 subscribers. We're going to go ahead and let's see what we got here. Because look at her facial expression. I became a monster. And that facial expression, I don't know. But Anton, are you gonna get me again with this preview stuff? Is there a preview? Is there a preview? Oh, yep. Man, this is a minute in too, brother. Brother, you killing me.
And he's behind the scenes, pulling the strings. I used to let him reply to male celebrities from my account. That's how much access that I
She's talking about a previous boyfriend.
allowed him to have.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how that whole thing was, how that even came about. It was just a very controlled situation. And when we started going out different places and the Instagram thing, because I used to be a special needs caregiver full time before I did Instagram. Full time now. It was almost like when we would go places, I would shine and he wanted that spotlight. So then
Why? You were making the money. What difference does it make?
because I think he was still actually that's a great question. No one's ever asked me that. I feel like there was
Insecurity. That's what it is. This is why I say, we need more married couples making content because the situation he's in, the first problem is they ain't married. Second problem is the guy that she's talking about wants to be the breadwinner in the relationship. But, she said that he fell on hard times and then they're just trying to make it work. Well, quite possibly they've never seen anybody in a relationship where the woman is the breadwinner. That's why you're going to have to start to have a clash because for most guys, they prefer to be the breadwinner. They want to lead with their wallet. There's nothing wrong with that. You just understand what comes with that. The minute your wallet's not there, the minute the woman out-earns you because you've built the relationship based on she should respect you because you have money, the minute she out-earn you, that's when things start to go downhill. You got a shot that when the shot clock turns on, it says that you have to make more money than her now. But remember what I told you. There's a reason why those divorces are common. It's because there's only so much resources out here. It's only so much money to be made. Your woman gets a job when she takes a promotion where she earns an extra $30,000 a year. How are you supposed to make up for that? What? Driving for Uber on the weekends? Nah. Lead with character. Lead with the dime.
because he was always the star. He was the star quarterback when we went to school.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like a
See?
nobody compared to that.
Right.
And I feel like when it didn't work out for him and he went overseas and we're watching the draft, never got called, never became a free agent for anything, had a couple tryouts, never. So I feel like he was chasing that relevancy and that high of I'm important. This validates me as a man. So I feel like there was a secret competition between him and I. And me, I just was excited to make us money. I asked for permission to spend money on a Coach bag. I remember everything that happened to me. But it was that's how controlled it was.
No, this is a good attitude to have. I mean, she would have made a great wife back then, but she's giving it to the wrong guy. It's just, and that means it's wasted. So we can kind of see where, current thought process comes from. Because, I did all that and it didn't work, so I'm never doing that again. Fortunately, this happens to a lot of women in our community because the vetting process just isn't there. We've got to reestablish them.
That's how brainwashed I allowed myself to get. To where I thought the only reason I had this stuff was because of him. It had nothing to do with anything special about me.
Sheesh.
I know. I want to say, and then when we broke up, what he said, but when we broke up, he was like, "You only are this because of me. I'm the blueprint." And I was like, "Okay, we'll do it again with somebody else, because I'm the fucking reason, bitch."
Where did you get the confidence from? Because,
Okay, we got to
So
probably
I-
scale back a little bit.
well, hold on. So let me see. Let me tell you why I'm asking you this
Okay.
question, right? Because you mentioned that, and I seen that as a theme in your book, right, where different guys that you dated at the time, especially during the time where y'all was trying to break up, or you were about to break up, or where things were in turmoil, where they would kind of give you this thing where it's like, yo, you're not special. And then I watched an interview online where somebody said that you're not special. You know what I'm saying? And so taking that into consideration, though, right? Where did you get this confidence from? Because most women, from my perspective, usually they just turn into little babies and they kind of go away, or they get to their shell or whatever.
Leading question, because I've seen the interview that he's referring to where she was told you're not special. Context matters. Anton knows that, so it makes me think that this question has an agenda for him. But the said interview that she's talking about, yes, she was told you're not special, as in you want what most women want out of a relationship. And she does. And under those circumstances, she's not special. So what are we talking about here?
Like that. You kind of like turn into this phoenix or an unleashed where
Like a monster, really.
yeah. And now it's like, yo, who the fuck are you? You know what I'm saying? Like, what makes you think that you can even have this conversation with me? Where did you get the confidence from, considering or taking into consideration that a lot of people, it seems like, have told you that you're not special?
Yep. I would say that that turn. Well, first, okay, so I have to kind of a little backstory. We ended up breaking up because we would tussle. Put his hands on me, I put my hands on him. I'm gonna fight back.
Mutual
I'm gonna
combat.
slap your ass. You know what I
little
mean?
bit.
We
Okay.
get abusive. You know what I mean? So it got to a point where I just wanted to stand up for myself. So I realized probably not too long after, I was like, I can't continue like this. Like, I'm unhappy. Like, this is only going to get worse. So even though I had already dug myself a pretty deep hole, I was like, I'm going to kill him.
You referenced that a lot in the book with
but that's
different
the truth.
people.
And that's why I immediately removed myself. I never had to like get in fights or anything growing up in school. Like, never really anything. I've been in one fight my whole life. That was with my mom. I don't like violence, but it's like when I get to that point, it's like snapped. Like I prison. Like, I'm going 0 to prison. So it's like I'm self-aware enough to know that when I get in that fight or flight, I'm going to fight you, and one of us is not going to make it out. So when I broke up with him, I had the courage to break up with him because I was in California. So obviously in the book, I talk about how I had a magazine cover shoot. So I was supposed to come back home.
With the studio and
The
going
studio-
away from the
yep.
hotel.
So I had $11,000 in my account, I think, and I had a place to stay. We went to this rapper's party. We were arguing about it. I didn't do anything, but it was the fact that I went to a party, didn't have service up there. It was just a mess. Oh my God, I'm actually impressed how much I remember, but I'm not suppressing shit anymore. But
She picked a fight with him, probably so she could end the relationship instead of just walking away. Because again, look, what did she just say? Well, I got money now, so I got money and a place to stay. I don't need a man. So she picked a fight with him. I went to the party I went to a celebrity party. Sounds like she went without him to where she couldn't be reached. Like that's destructive behavior. You're avoiding the issue and you're trying to force it. You want him to say something. Downhill. I would like to know at what point in the relationship, because she did mention mutual combat, but what she haven't told us is that what did she do wrong in the relationship? The only thing she said is, well, I trusted him. Something else is going on there, because this guy just sounds like, all the evil parts of the Bible, and we're just supposed to sit here and believe that. Like, you just didn't do nothing to him? Right, sure.
I realized that I could like run away. Like, I could free myself from it. And when I ended up breaking things off, I didn't go back for any of my stuff. So all my little cute Jackson State hoodies and all that shit I got, I had to just leave that behind. My rabbit that my great grandma got me for my first Easter, I had to leave it behind. But when we broke up, I remember I'd always just get really nervous on camera, like videos. So I would go in the bathroom and like set my phone up, and I would just like become something that I really didn't feel like I was. So like I could like pretend when no one was around, like being this confident, badass bitch, like queen, like nobody can stop me. And that's how it grew to what it is now. It just was talking to myself in a room by myself, because I could never shoot in front of people. Like they couldn't even be on the same floor as me. I'd have to be locked in a room, a bathroom, something. I used to just talk to myself and make videos and just fake it, because I never had that. I never felt like some badass bitch. Like I never knew my power. So it literally started from just selfie videos in the fucking bathroom by myself.
So she figured out how to
comments.
She figured out a way to give herself confidence. Believe it or not, that's actually something that you would if you ever taken a public speaking course, that's actually one of the things they tell you to do is practice the speech in the mirror, in the bathroom, somewhere like that, so you get comfortable saying and talking. She figured that out for herself. That's impressive, because that's one of the exercises that helps you build confidence about public speaking.
Kevin actually told me to not. And when he reiterated, "You're crazy, stop reading the comments," I kind of took it seriously when Kevin Samuel said it. I was like, you know what? Why am I in the comments? So I try not to read them.
A lot of people that I know that have a lot of visibility on the internet, including Kev, because he told me the same thing. He said, fuck the comments, basically. But a lot of people that don't have a Kevin in their life, for example, right? That's not used to going through it, or is going through it, because you're gonna catch hell no matter how positive you are, no matter how negative you are, you're gonna catch hell, right?
I agree with that. But here's the problem, though, is that when you're trying to grow a following, give me another way that you can boost engagement. That's interesting, right? That's just a side note, because again, we got a small channel over here and we're trying to grow it. So, I just find that interesting.
A lot of people read comments like that have a level of visibility. They are very, very sensitive about the comments. Like I know NBA players that read fucking comments all the time.
They're sick.
Yeah. So, guys, there is nothing special here. I agree with that assessment. She just sounds
we were
like
talking about date.
Whoa, let's skip to the next part, didn't it? Okay. Well, we're going to come back for another video for that. We don't need to keep going there. But this sounds like, she sounds like an average woman who did not have the benefit of having her father in her life, being around masculinity that is appropriate. She did not have the benefit of the vetting process to keep the wrong guys away from her. Because like I said, when she talked about that first relationship, or that relationship with whoever that guy was, right? She sounds like a wife. The problem is that you're giving all that, that great feminine energy, wife skills, you're giving that to a guy who doesn't have the same goals as you. Because if he did, they would have got married. But instead, you get a guy who's not trying to marry you, and you end up wasting time with him. And, only thing that does is move the clock forward, and that's not good. That's one of the things that we have to look out for in our community as we're trying to rebuild it, is we got to stop wasting time on people who don't share similar goals. Ladies, I'll keep saying this. How much time you want to waste on a guy who doesn't want to get married? And you do. You're not going to convince him. He's not going to turn around and all of a sudden, well, you know what? She is a good woman. I'm going to go ahead and marry her. That's not realistic. Because again, if that's a guy half-stepping or falling backwards into marriage. It's real hard to maintain those type of relationships because the guy is not prepared for it. Now, can it work out? Yeah, but we're talking about probability versus possibility. Instead, it makes more sense to go with a guy who already knows what he wants his life to look like. He already knows that he wants to get married, and that's what he's looking for. We just got to get it when you're young enough, so when your early 20s would be preferable. So you guys have some time to build a good foundation when it's just the two of you, and then you can add in a child or two. Makes things go so much smoother, right? Because you got time to plan for stuff. But look, guys, this is a great interview. It's a lot of truth. It's a lot of truth in here for, I would say, for average women, because I haven't heard anything from Brittany so far that makes her like a step above most women. I mean, the only difference I would say is that while she's, she got a career as an influencer, I would equate that to, a woman going to college, getting a degree, and getting a job in corporate America. It's very similar. So look, guys, we're going to end it here, and I'm going to say goes to the next time. Peace.